Park Ho had never been a hero. He was simply a man who fixed broken things on a cargo ship that traveled between the stars. His hands were rough from years of work. His face was plain. His life was quiet, and that was exactly how he liked it. The cargo ship Iron Bell had stopped at Nexus Point for repairs. Nexus Point was a massive space station where 7 different alien species came to trade goods and make deals. Ho had visited the station many times before. He knew where to find good food. He knew which shops sold real parts and which sold fake ones. He knew to stay away from the gambling halls in the lower levels. On that particular day, Ho was walking through the main docking bay when everything changed. He heard the explosion first, a terrible sound that shook the metal floor under his feet. Then he saw the fire. A sleek silver shuttle had crashed into the bay. Flames poured from its broken body. Smoke filled the air. People screamed and ran in all directions. Ho did not run away. He did not think about what he was doing. His body simply moved toward the fire. The heat hit him like a wall. He pulled his jacket over his mouth and pushed forward. Through the smoke, he saw a figure trapped inside the shuttle. Blue skin, silver hair, a woman. She was alive but could not move. Part of the shuttle had fallen on her legs. Ho grabbed the metal and pulled. It was hot enough to burn through his gloves. The pain was terrible, but he did not stop. He pulled again and again until the metal moved just enough. Then he dragged the woman out of the fire and away from the shuttle. They had barely reached safety when the shuttle exploded behind them. Ho lay on the ground, breathing hard. His hands were burned. His lungs hurt from the smoke. But the woman was alive. That was enough. Station security arrived minutes later. Medical teams took the woman away. Someone wrapped Ho's hands in bandages. Someone else asked him questions he could barely hear. Everything felt distant and strange. It was not until the next morning that Ho learned what he had done. The woman he saved was named Lyra. She was the daughter of the High Ambassador. They were one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. They were tall, blue-skinned, and famous for their cold logic. Their entire society was built on laws, contracts, and debts. Every action had a price. Every favor had to be repaid. And Ho had just saved the life of the ambassador's only daughter. 2 guards came to Ho's room on the Iron Bell. They did not ask him to come with them. They simply told him that the ambassador wished to speak with him. Ho understood that saying no was not really an option. The ambassador's ship was nothing like the Iron Bell. Everything was clean and white and perfect. Ho felt dirty and small as the guards led him through long hallways. His burned hands throbbed under their bandages. The ambassador waited in a room filled with floating screens and strange symbols. He was tall, even for a. His silver eyes studied Ho the way a scientist might study a bug. "You saved my daughter," the ambassador said. His voice was flat. There was no warmth in it. "Yes," Ho replied. He did not know what else to say. "By law, you have created a life debt. My family now owes you a debt that must be paid. Name your price, human, ships, money, land on any world, political connections. Whatever you want is yours." Ho stared at the ambassador. He thought about the offer. Ships worth more than he could earn in 100 lifetimes. Enough money to never work again. Land on beautiful alien worlds. "No," Ho said. The ambassador's silver eyes widened slightly. "No. I do not want payment. I saw someone in trouble. I helped them. That is all. There is no debt." "You do not understand. The debt exists whether you accept payment or not. If you refuse payment, the debt remains open. It will hang over my family forever." "Then let it hang," Ho said simply. "Saving someone's life should not come with a price. I am not a merchant." For the first time, the ambassador looked truly confused. Built their civilization on the idea that everything could be measured and traded. A debt that someone refused to collect made no sense to them. "This is unacceptable," the ambassador said finally. "If you will not name a price, then I must find another way to balance the scales. My daughter will remain with you until the debt is resolved. She will serve you, protect you, and learn what you truly desire. When she discovers what you want, she will give it to you, and the debt will be closed." "What? No, I do not need." The door opened. Lyra walked in. She looked different from the night before. Her blue skin was clean. Her silver hair was pulled back tight. She wore a formal uniform. Her silver eyes were filled with barely hidden anger. "Father," she said stiffly, "you cannot be serious. This human is primitive. Their species only discovered faster-than-light travel 2 centuries ago. I am meant to serve him." "The law is clear," the ambassador replied. "He holds our debt. Until he releases it, you will stay at his side. Learn what he wants. Give it to him. End this." Lyra turned to Ho. Her gaze was cold enough to freeze water. "What do you want, human? Say it now and end this foolishness." Ho looked at her. He saw her anger. He saw her pride. He saw how much she hated this situation, and he felt sorry for her. "I want you to be free," he said quietly. "I want you to owe me nothing. But if your laws do not allow that, then I do not know how to help you." Lyra stared at him. Something flickered in her silver eyes. Confusion, perhaps, or doubt. "You are either very stupid or very dangerous," she said. "I have not decided which." "Probably stupid," Ho admitted. "Most people seem to think so." The ambassador stood. "The matter is settled. Lyra will accompany you. When the debt is resolved, she will return. Until then, she is your responsibility." Ho opened his mouth to argue again, but the guards were already leading him out. Lyra followed behind him, her footsteps sharp and angry on the metal floor. As they walked back toward the iron bell, Ho heard new sounds from the docking bay. Alarms. Announcements in languages he did not understand. Through a window, he saw a massive warship entering the station. It was covered in scars and weapon marks. Its design was brutal and aggressive. Lyra said behind him, her voice carried a new note of worry. "A hunter ship. They are looking for someone." Ho watched the warship settle into dock. He had a bad feeling that his simple life was about to become much more complicated. He had no idea how right he was. The warship brought fear to Nexus Point. Shops closed early. Travelers hurried to their ships. Even the station security seemed nervous. They were known throughout the galaxy as warriors. They lived for combat. They died for honor. And they never gave up a hunt. Ho tried to ignore all of this. He had enough problems already. A woman now lived on his ship. His captain was furious. He kept giving him strange looks, and Lyra refused to stop following him everywhere. "You do not need to watch me eat," Ho said as he sat in a small food hall near the docks. "I promise I will not run away." Lyra sat across from him, her silver eyes scanning the crowd. "I am not watching you. I am protecting you. If something happens to you before the debt is paid, my family's honor suffers even more." "How nice," Ho muttered. He took a bite of his noodles. That was when the girl crashed into their table. She came from nowhere, small and fast, covered in golden fur, with ears that pointed straight up. She hit their table hard enough to knock Ho's food to the floor. Then she looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "Hide me," she whispered. "Please, they will kill me." Behind her, Ho could see 3 large figures pushing through the crowd. They were tall, muscled, covered in dark fur, with teeth that could bite through metal. They wore hunter marks on their armor. They were searching. Ho did not think, he simply acted. He pulled off his jacket and threw it over the girl. Under the table, now. She disappeared beneath the table, just as the hunters arrived. The lead hunter was massive. Scars covered his face. He looked at Ho and Lyra with yellow eyes. "Human, have you seen a female, young, golden fur? She is a runaway, a criminal." Lyra opened her mouth to speak. Ho stepped on her foot under the table. "No," Ho said calmly. "We have been here eating. We saw no one matching that description." The hunter studied him. His nostrils flared, smelling the air. For a terrible moment, Ho was sure they would be discovered. Then the hunter turned away. "Search the next section," he ordered his companions. They moved on, pushing through the crowd. Ho let out a breath he did not know he was holding. "Are you insane?" Lyra hissed. "You just lied to hunters. If they find out, they will tear you apart." They did not find out. Ho reached under the table. "You can come out now." The girl emerged slowly. Up close, Ho could see that she was young, perhaps the human equivalent of 20 years old. Her golden fur was dirty and matted. Her clothes were torn. She looked like she had been running for days. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Her voice was rough and suspicious. "Humans do not help. Our species have fought wars." "You asked for help, that was enough." The girl stared at him. Her ears twitched in confusion. "I do not understand you." "Most people do not," Lyra said dryly. "Welcome to my current situation." The girl's name she was the daughter of a war chief. Her father had promised her to another warlord as payment for a military alliance. The warlord was cruel and old, had refused. Her father had ordered her captured and brought back by force, so she ran. "I will not be sold like cargo," said fiercely. "I would rather die fighting." "No one should be sold," Ho agreed. "Stay with us until the hunters leave the station. Then you can find your own path." His yellow eyes narrowed. "You offer shelter to a stranger. Your species is known for being weak, soft, easy to break. Why would you risk yourself for someone you do not know?" "Because everyone deserves a choice about their own life." Was silent for a long moment. Then she bared her teeth. Among this was not a threat, it was a smile. "You speak well, human, but words are cheap. Among my people only actions have meaning." She stood up. "I will test you. If you pass, I will believe your intentions are pure. If you fail, I will know you are a liar like all the others." "Test me how?" Ho asked nervously. "Combat." Lyra made a sound of disbelief. "You cannot be serious. He is human. You would snap him in half." 3 rounds, continued as if Lyra had not spoken. "He does not need to defeat me. He only needs to survive without surrendering. If he can do this, I will trust him." Ho looked at the young warrior. She was smaller than other he had seen, but she was still made of muscle and sharp edges. Fighting her would be like fighting a wild animal. "Fine," he said. "What?" Lyra grabbed his arm. "You will die." "Maybe, but if I refuse, she will never trust me. She will run again. The hunters will find her." Ho gently removed Lyra's hand. "Some things are worth the risk." They found an empty cargo hold for the fight, removed her outer clothes, revealing the traditional fighting wraps of a warrior. Her body was lean and powerful. Every movement showed years of training. Ho removed his jacket. He raised his fists the way his father had taught him long ago. It felt silly, like bringing a small knife to fight a starship. Attacked. The first hit sent Ho flying across the hold. He hit the wall hard enough to see stars. Before he could breathe, she was on him again. A kick to his ribs, a punch to his stomach. He tasted blood. "Surrender," ordered. "Admit you are weak, end this." Ho spat blood onto the floor. He stood up. His eyes widened slightly. She attacked again. More hits, more pain. Ho fell. He got up. He fell again. He got up again. His body screamed at him to stop. His mind told him this was stupid, but something deeper kept pushing him forward. "Why do you not surrender?" demanded. She was breathing hard now, not from effort but from confusion. "You cannot win, you know this. Why do you keep standing?" "Because you need to know," Ho gasped through broken lips, "that I meant what I said. Everyone deserves a choice, including you." He raised his fists again. Stared at him. Something changed in her yellow eyes. The aggression faded. Something softer took its place. Slowly, she lowered her hands. "Enough," she said quietly. "I can keep going." "No, the test is over." She walked toward him. Her voice was strange, almost gentle. "No has ever shown me such courage. My own warriors would have surrendered after the first blow. You are either the bravest being I have ever met or the most foolish." "Probably foolish," Ho said. He was having trouble staying upright. Caught him before he fell. Her arms were surprisingly gentle. "By refusing to finish our declared combat, I have broken tradition. When a warrior does not defeat their opponent, they claim them as protected kin." She made a sound that was almost a laugh. "I have bound myself to you by accident, human. Your household is now my household. My father has no more claim on me." "Wait, what?" "I belong to your family now, until death or formal release." Helped him sit down. "You have accidentally gained a warrior. I hope you can handle the responsibility." Lyra stood in the doorway, her silver eyes wide. "This is absurd. First me, now her. What is wrong with this human?" Ho lay on the cold floor, bleeding and confused. He had saved one woman from a fire. He had protected another from hunters. And somehow, both of them now belonged to his household. He closed his eyes and wondered if he had hit his head too hard. Through the cargo hold speakers, he heard a station announcement. A new ship had arrived at Nexus Point. A diplomatic vessel. They were requesting information about a human named Park Ho. Ho groaned. He had a feeling his troubles were just beginning. The ship was unlike anything Ho had ever seen. It did not look like metal and technology. It looked like it had grown, like a living thing. Its surface was smooth and pale, covered in patterns that glowed softly with inner light. It was beautiful in a way that made Ho feel both wonder and fear. "They are the oldest species in the known galaxy," Lyra explained as they watched the ship dock. "They were traveling between stars when most other species were still living in caves. They rarely speak to younger races. The fact that they are here, asking for you by name, is extremely unusual." "Everything about my life has become unusual," Ho muttered. His body still hurt from his fight his face was bruised, his ribs ached when he breathed. Stood beside him, arms crossed. She had not left his side since their combat. Her yellow eyes watched the ship with suspicion. "My people have stories about they say they can see into your mind. They know your thoughts before you think them." "That sounds concerning," Ho said. "It should be." A message arrived for Ho, the requested permission to meet with him. They promised they meant no harm. They said they only wished to talk. Ho agreed. What else could he do? The meeting took place on the ship. Ho walked through corridors that pulsed with soft light. The walls felt warm, almost alive. The air smelled like flowers he could not name. Lyra and followed close behind him, ready for trouble. The representative waited in a room filled with floating crystals. She was tall and thin, with skin as pale as moonlight. Glowing patterns covered her arms and face, moving slowly like living tattoos. Her eyes were completely black, deep as space itself. "Park Ho," she said. Her voice was soft and musical. "I have been waiting to meet you for a very long time. You know my name. I do not know yours. I am a dream reader. Among my people I see possible futures through emotional connections." She tilted her head, studying him. "I have seen you in my visions for 3 years, human. A man surrounded by impossible bonds. A bridge between species who never connect. You are important." Ho felt uncomfortable under her black gaze. "I am just an engineer. I fix broken things. I am not important." "You believe that now, but the future tells a different story." Moved closer. Her movements were graceful, like water flowing. "They have watched the galaxy for. We have seen empires rise and fall. We have seen species destroy each other over small differences. And in all our watching, we have rarely seen what I see in you." "What do you see?" "Kindness without calculation, courage without pride. You help others not because you expect reward, but because you cannot imagine doing otherwise." Glowing patterns pulsed brighter. "This is rare, Ho, rarer than you know. Most beings, when they help others, are keeping score. You are not." Lyra stepped forward. "What do you want from him?" I want to understand him, replied. I want to stay with him and observe. I want to learn why the future keeps showing me his face. She looked at Ho with her bottomless eyes. I am asking permission, human, not demanding. The choice is yours. Ho was surprised. Both Lyra and had become bound to him through laws and accidents. Neither had asked first, but was asking. You can stay, he said, but I have rules. I do not own anyone. If you stay as an equal, not as a servant or subject. Smiled. It transformed her pale face into something almost warm. That answer is exactly why I needed to find you. And so Ho's strange household grew by one more. The days that followed were difficult. 3 alien women from 3 hostile species now lived on his small cargo ship. The Iron Bell was not designed for so many passengers. The corridors were crowded. The bathroom was always occupied, and the arguments never stopped. Lyra thought was crude and violent. She solves every problem with her fists. It is primitive. Thought Lyra was cold and heartless. She calculates the value of everything. She has no passion, no fire. Both thought was strange and untrustworthy. She watches us like we are experiments, complained. I do not like her eyes. Simply observed everything with quiet patience. Her black eyes saw more than she shared. Ho tried to keep peace between them. He failed constantly. Every meal became a battlefield. Every conversation turned into a debate. He often found himself hiding in the engine room just to escape the tension. Why do you not simply command them to behave? His captain asked one evening. They are bound to you. Use your authority. That is not how I want to live, Ho replied. I did not ask for any of this. I will not become a tyrant just because their laws allow it. Then came the night that changed everything. Ho was working late in the engine room when he heard the alarm. Radiation leak. A small crack in one of the reactor shields. Not immediately deadly, but dangerous if not fixed quickly. He grabbed his tools and ran to the reactor room. The radiation warnings flashed red. He could see the leak, a small crack in the shield no wider than his finger, easy to fix if he had time, but the radiation levels were rising fast. He had just started the repair when the door burst open behind him. Lyra, and all rushed in at once. Get out of here, Lyra shouted at him. The radiation will kill you. I need to fix this, Ho shouted back. I will protect you, declared, pulling him backward. Warriors protect their household. No, I must be the one, said, reaching for him. I can shield his mind from the pain. The 3 women collided with each other, each trying to be the one to save Ho. They argued. They pushed. For a moment, it looked like they might actually fight each other. Ho ignored them all. He pushed past their grasping hands and went back to the leak. The radiation burned against his skin. The repair was simple, just sealing the crack with emergency foam. His hands shook. The foam felt hot. When he finished, he turned to find all 3 women staring at him in shock. You ignored us, Lyra said slowly. All of us. The ship needed fixing. Ho looked at his hands. They were red and burned. Sometimes you just have to do what needs to be done. Moved first. She took his hands gently in hers. Her touch was cool, soothing. The glowing patterns on her skin brightened as she worked. Ho felt the pain fade. You are remarkable, she whispered. You could have let any of us take the risk. Instead, you protected us all. As she healed him, something strange happened. Eyes went wide. Her patterns flared bright as stars. She gasped softly. What is it? Ho asked. I saw something, a vision clear as I have ever seen. She looked at him with wonder in her black eyes. I saw myself bound to you, not by law or accident, by choice. I saw all 3 of us choosing you willingly. That seems unlikely, Lyra said dryly. I am here because of debt, is here because of combat law. We did not choose this. Not yet, replied, but the future is full of paths. I saw one where we all choose freely, where we become something none of us expected. She released Ho's healed hands. I do not wish to be only an observer anymore. I wish to be part of your household, truly part of it. I told you before, Ho said gently, I do not own anyone. Then do not own me, accept me as an equal, a friend. Whatever word feels right. His pale face was hopeful. I have watched the stars for centuries. I have never found a place that felt like belonging, until now. Ho looked at Lyra. At three women from three worlds that had nothing in common. Three women who argued constantly and drove him mad daily. Three women who had all rushed to save him without thinking. Stay, he said simply. All of you, not because of debts or laws, stay because you want to. Something shifted in the room, something unseen but real. For the first time, the three women looked at each other without hostility. The moment was broken by an announcement from the station. A Galactic Council summons had been issued for Park Ho. And were all claiming him as affiliated with their species. He had to appear before the council to explain himself. If he could not satisfy them, he would face charges of illegally binding citizens from 3 different governments. Ho sighed heavily. His quiet life as an engineer seemed very far away now. The Galactic Council chamber was the largest room Ho had ever seen. It rose up like a cathedral, filled with floating platforms where representatives from dozens of species sat in judgment. Lights of every color filled the space. Voices in 100 languages echoed off the walls, and at the center of it all stood Ho, feeling very small and very human. He had no lawyer. He had no powerful friends. He had only his worn engineer's uniform and 3 alien women standing somewhere in the crowd, forbidden from joining him on the central platform. Park Ho of Earth, the council speaker announced. The speaker was a being made of light, shifting and formless. You stand accused of manipulating citizens from 3 sovereign species. How do you answer? I did not manipulate anyone, Ho said. His voice sounded tiny in the vast chamber. I only tried to help people. Voices erupted from the platforms around him. Angry voices, suspicious voices. The ambassador rose first. This human holds an unpaid debt over my family. He refuses all payment, keeping my daughter bound to him indefinitely. This is manipulation of our sacred laws. The war chief stood next. His father was even larger than the hunters Ho had seen before. His fur was gray with age, but his eyes burned with fury. This human tricked my daughter into declaring him protected kin. He has stolen her from her rightful family. He is a coward who uses our traditions as weapons. An elder spoke last. This human has somehow drawn one of our dream readers away from her sacred duties. We question whether he has mentally compromised her through unknown means. Ho listened to the accusations. Each one made him sound like a monster, a schemer, someone who had carefully planned to capture 3 alien women for his own purposes. The truth was so much simpler and sadder. May I speak? He asked. The council speaker nodded. I am an engineer, Ho said slowly. I fix broken things on a cargo ship. I have never had power over anyone. I have never wanted power over anyone. He looked up at the platforms surrounding him. I saved Lyra because she was dying. I helped because she was afraid. I welcomed because she asked politely. I did not know their laws. I did not plan anything. I just tried to be kind. Laughter came from somewhere in the chamber. Cruel, mocking laughter. Kindness, the war chief growled. Humans always hide behind soft words. You are weak. You cannot be trusted. Perhaps the human should be punished to satisfy all parties, a voice suggested from the shadows. Remove him from the equation entirely. Ho felt cold fear in his stomach. He had no defense against these powerful beings, no argument they would accept. He was just one small human in a galaxy that had never cared about humans. Then Lyra's voice rang out across the chamber. I wish to speak in his defense. The chamber fell silent. Lyra walked to a platform reserved for witnesses. Her silver eyes were steady. Her voice was strong. Among my people, debt is everything. It shapes our lives, our families, our society. When Ho saved my life, he could have demanded anything from my family. Wealth beyond imagination, political alliances, favorable trade agreements. She paused. He asked for nothing. He wanted nothing. He said that saving a life should not have a price. Murmurs spread through the chamber. At first I thought he was a fool, Lyra continued, or perhaps playing a deeper game I could not see, but after living with him I understand. He truly believes what he says. He helped me because I needed help. That was his only reason. Her voice softened. In all my years I have never met anyone like him. He is either the greatest fool in the galaxy or the most honorable being I have ever known. I choose to believe the second. Before the murmurs could fade, stepped forward. I will also speak. The war chief snarled at his daughter. You have no right to speak here, girl. You bring shame to our family. You sold me like cargo, replied coldly. You traded your daughter for soldiers. I am the one who should speak of shame. She turned to address the council. I tested Ho in combat. Among my people, combat reveals truth. A coward surrenders quickly. A schemer runs from pain. She walked closer to the central platform where Ho stood. Ho could not defeat me. He knew this before we began, but he refused to surrender. I beat him bloody. I broke his bones, and still he stood up. Again and again, not to win but to prove his intentions were pure. Her yellow eyes met Ho's. No warrior has ever shown me such courage. My father promised me to a cruel old man. Ho offered me a choice. He offered me freedom. He asked nothing in return. Finally, glided forward. Her pale form seemed to glow in the chamber's lights. The council questions whether this human has compromised my mind, she said softly. I invite any elder to examine my thoughts. They will find them clear and free. She turned slowly, addressing the entire chamber. I have watched the galaxy for 300 years. I have seen countless beings. Most are driven by greed, fear, or hunger for power. They calculate every kindness. They measure every gift. Her black eyes found Ho. This human calculates nothing. He gives without measuring. He helps without remembering. In 3 centuries of watching, I have never encountered a soul so pure. Her glowing patterns pulsed brightly. I chose to join his household. No law forced me. No trick deceived me. I saw something rare and precious, and I wished to be near it. The chamber was silent. Even the mocking voices had gone quiet. The council speaker spoke. The testimony is noted, but a problem remains. 3 governments claim this human. Law, tradition, connection. These cannot all be true at once. A choice must be made. An old judge rose from her platform. There is one possibility, the Unity Accord. Whispers spread through the chamber. Even the council speaker seemed surprised. The Unity Accord has not been used in centuries, the speaker said. But it still exists in law, the judge replied. The accord allows for multi-species bonds when they serve diplomatic purposes. If the human and the 3 women were to formalize their connection under the accord, no single government could claim exclusive rights. You mean marriage, someone said. You are suggesting a human marry 3 aliens. I am suggesting a legal solution to a complex problem. The old judge's eyes were sharp. Unless anyone has a better idea. No one spoke. The council speaker turned to Ho. Park Ho, you have heard the proposal. Under the Unity Accord, you could formally bond with all 3 women. This would resolve the competing claims, but the choice must be yours and theirs. Ho looked at Lyra standing proud on her platform, at fierce and strong, at gentle and wise. 3 women from 3 worlds. 3 women he had never meant to become entangled with. I will not force anyone, he said quietly. If they want their freedom, they should have it. They do not need to marry me to escape their government's claims. There must be another way. There is not, Lyra said. She stepped down from her platform. The laws are clear. Either we formalize the bond or we fight our governments forever. She walked toward Ho. I have spent months trying to understand you, trying to find the calculation behind your kindness. I found nothing but genuine care. She stopped in front of him. If I must choose, I choose you. Jumped down to join them. I ran from a marriage I did not want. I will not run from one I do. Her teeth showed in a warrior's smile. I choose you, Ho. You earned my loyalty in the arena. Now you have my heart as well. Floated down gently. I saw this moment in my visions. I saw myself standing here making this choice freely. Her pale hand touched his cheek. I choose you, not because the future told me to, but because my heart tells me now. Ho looked at the three women surrounding him. His eyes were wet. His heart was full of feelings he could not name. Then I choose you, he said softly, all of you. The council speaker struck the floor with a staff of light. The unity accord is invoked. The bonding ceremony will proceed. This matter is resolved. As they left the chamber, Ho noticed the war chief watching them with hatred in his eyes. The father who had lost his daughter. The warlord whose plans had been ruined. This was not over. Ho could feel it in his bones. But for now, walking with three impossible women by his side, he allowed himself a moment of hope. The wedding ceremony was held on a neutral world called Haven. It was a place of green hills and gentle rivers, chosen because it belonged to no one and welcomed everyone. Thousands of guests came from across the galaxy. Diplomats and traders, warriors and scholars, all gathered to witness something that had not happened in living memory. A human marrying three aliens under the Unity Accord. Ho stood in a room filled with floating mirrors, trying to understand his own reflection. He wore three different formal garments layered together: a white coat with silver buttons, a red sash that crossed his chest, a pale robe that shimmered when he moved. He looked like a confused costume shop. This is too much, he muttered to himself. The ceremony required him to satisfy all three traditions. Contracts demanded he memorize pages of legal vows. Customs required him to survive a ritual combat test. Bonding needed him to open his emotions completely to touch. Any mistake in any part would dishonor everyone involved. He had practiced for days. He still felt unprepared. As the sun began to set, Ho walked alone to a cliff overlooking the ceremony grounds below. Lights were being lit. Music was starting to play. Thousands of beings waited for him. He thought about running. Not seriously, not really, but the thought crossed his mind. He could find a small ship, fly away to some forgotten corner of the galaxy, go back to being a simple engineer who fixed broken things. No more politics, no more ceremonies, no more expectations he could never meet. You are thinking about escape. He turned to find all three women standing behind him. Lyra in a gown of deep blue that matched her skin. In warrior's armor polished until it gleamed gold. In flowing white that made her look like a ghost made of starlight. How did you know? He asked. I can see it in your shoulders, Lyra said. They always tense when you are considering something difficult. Your scent changes when you are afraid, added. It has changed now. And I simply looked at your future, said with a small smile. You were considering a shuttle to the outer rim. Ho laughed despite himself. I cannot hide anything from you three. They walked to stand beside him. For a moment, all four looked down at the ceremony grounds together. I do not deserve this, Ho said quietly. Any of this. I am not special. I am not a hero. I am just a man who happened to be in the wrong places at the wrong times. Lyra touched his arm. Among my people, we spend our whole lives calculating worth. We measure everything. Contributions, debts, achievements, failures. By every calculation I know, you have proven yourself beyond measure. Moved closer. My people measure worth through courage. We believe that who you are is shown by what you do when things are hard. Her golden eyes were soft. You have more courage than any warrior I know, Ho. You just use it differently. Took his hand. Her touch was cool and comforting. Measure worth through emotional truth. We look into hearts and see what lies beneath the surface. Her black eyes reflected the sunset. Your heart is the I have ever touched. There is no hidden darkness, no secret cruelty, just kindness all the way down. Ho felt tears building in his eyes. I am just me. I cannot be what you all need. You are exactly what we need, Lyra said firmly, because you do not try to be anything else. You are simply kind, simply brave, simply good. In a galaxy full of complicated schemes and hidden motives, you are refreshingly simple. And we choose you, said, not because of accidents or laws or prophecies. We choose you because you showed us kindness without expecting anything back. That is rarer than gold or power. That is rarer than anything, agreed. Ho wiped his eyes. He looked at the three women who had entered his life by chance and transformed it completely. Then he nodded. Then let us get married. The ceremony began as the stars came out. First came the contracts. Ho spoke the legal vows perfectly, promising to honor Lyra with respect and equality. She signed the contract with silver ink, binding their fates in the cold logic of law. Then came the combat blessing. His uncle, a massive warrior with scars covering his body, tested Ho with 3 ceremonial strikes. Ho blocked the first, dodged the second, and took the third directly to his chest. He stayed standing. The uncle nodded with grudging respect and declared the blessing complete. Finally came the emotional bonding, placed her hands on Ho's temples and opened her mind to his. For one endless moment they shared everything, every memory, every feeling, every hope and fear. Ho saw her centuries of loneliness. She saw his simple dreams of connection. When they separated, both were crying. The crowd cheered. The ceremony was complete. Ho kissed each wife according to her customs, a formal press of foreheads for Lyra, a gentle bite on the neck for, a touch of glowing patterns for. Each was strange. Each felt right. Then the attack came. The warship dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly above the ceremony grounds. Weapons fired. Shields activated around the guests. In the chaos, Ho heard a familiar voice booming across communication channels. Give me my daughter back, human, or everyone dies. His father had come for revenge. Smaller ships launched from the warship. Warriors began dropping toward the surface. Screaming guests ran in every direction. The wedding had become a battlefield. The Iron Bell, Ho said suddenly. My old ship, my are still aboard. They are parked near the northern hills. They will be in the line of fire, Lyra realized. I have to save them. Before anyone could argue, Ho was running. He found a small shuttle near the ceremony grounds and launched it into the air. His hands moved automatically over the controls. Years of engineering work had taught him how ships moved and breathed. You are heading into the battle zone. Lyra's voice came through the communication system. She was in another shuttle following him. I know. I am coming with you. That was her shuttle pulling alongside his. We all are. Calm voice joined the channel. 4 shuttles flew toward the chaos. Fighters tried to intercept them. Shuttle broke away to engage, buying time for the others. Her weapons blazed as she fought warriors from her own species. Ho reached the Iron Bell just as a boarding party was cutting through its hull. His old captain's voice came through the radio, panicked and desperate. Ho, is that you? They are inside the ship. They are going to kill us. Not today. He docked his shuttle directly against the breach that had cut. Lyra was beside him in seconds, her training turning her into a precise combat machine. Followed, using her emotional abilities to confuse and disorient the attackers. They fought through the corridors of the Iron Bell. Ho used his knowledge of the ship to lead them through maintenance tunnels and service passages. They found his locked in the cargo hold. They freed them and led them to the shuttles. My father's warship is preparing to fire on the planet, his voice came through. I cannot stop him alone. Ho looked at his 3 wives. All of them were injured. All of them were exhausted. None of them hesitated. Together, he said. 4 shuttles flew toward the warship. Lyra calculated attack vectors with perfect precision. fought off interceptors with fierce skill, coordinated their movements through emotional links, letting them function as one unit. And Ho flew straight at the warship's main weapon, drawing its fire away from the planet below. The warship systems failed one by one as Lyra exploited weaknesses she identified in microseconds. Shuttle crashed directly into the engine section, her ejecting at the last moment before impact. Some emotional pulse disrupted the crew's ability to coordinate. When it was over, the warship hung dead in space, faced her father on his own bridge, surrounded by his defeated warriors. "You are no longer my family," she told him. "I have found a real one." The authorities arrived to take the war chief away. The ceremony grounds were cleaned. The guests were calmed. In the morning, Ho stood on the bridge of a new ship, a gift from the Council for promoting peace between species. It was beautiful and fast and completely his. Lyra stood beside him, calculating their first journey, checked the weapon systems with professional pride, watched the stars through them with ancient wonder in her eyes. "Where do we go first?" Lyra asked. Ho looked at his wives, his family, his impossible, wonderful, chosen family. "Anywhere," he said, "as long as we go together." He set a course for the unknown. Behind him, he left the life of a simple engineer. Ahead of him lay adventures he could not imagine. But it all started because he saw someone in trouble and ran toward the fire instead of away from it. That was who Park Ho was. And that was why 3 women from 3 worlds had chosen to spend their lives with him. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the greatest stories. And this was only the beginning.